the biggest thing that we've learned in the past year is that there's a huge opportunity to bring awareness and exposure to the industry so that people can understand that this is a viable option for anybody that's interested in making stuff.
You're listening to the How Manufacturers Improve podcast, hosted by me, Kirby Sneen with the Manufacturers Alliance. If you've ever wondered how some leaders, change efforts, and manufacturing companies have become so successful, then you're in the right place. In each episode, we cover the successes and lessons learned of industry leaders. Then I break it all down into actionable insights so that you can use them to make improvements. This episode is all about workforce development best practices and features the founder and CEO of Shop Floor Coffee, Mike Franz. Enjoy. Mike, I'm super excited to have you here. Thanks for making the time.
Thanks, Kirby. Appreciate it.
Let's jump into the topic, workforce development, and specifically how it ties into what you guys are doing at Shop Floor Coffee. Now, I know you guys have an amazing mission, so why don't we start there? Tell us a little bit more about your mission and then what kind of impact it's making.
Yeah, well, the mission is quite simple. We make great coffee, and we sell to manufacturers, and we give 20% of our proceeds back to workforce development programs in the manufacturing community. Full stop. That's it.
Nice. So tell us about what kind of difference you're making as it relates to the coffee and then that financial contribution back to workforce development.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the contribution goes, it's, yes, there's the financial aspect of it, but there's also, we're trying to spread the word and awareness about manufacturing and how that can be, it's not right for everybody, but it could be a viable path for kids coming up that may not understand that that's an option for them to take as they try to develop a career or a path in life. Mm-hmm. And everybody drinks, I shouldn't say everybody, a lot of people drink coffee.
Yeah, not everybody yet.
Not everybody yet. Fair enough. Yeah, no, hey, you want to help us sell it, that kind of thing. No, but there's a lot of it is, yes, the financial portion of it, and we're trying to work with programs. We started out, I should take a step back a little bit. We started out with the idea that, hey, we have a pretty decent network. Amy and I both have a pretty decent network in the manufacturing community, not only locally, but also nationally, which gave us an opportunity to work with some bigger organizations and associations from the get-go of starting Shop Floor to get some exposure, to get, hey, we know people at AMT and we did IMTS, and that helped us gain a little bit of street cred within the industry, being tied to that a little bit. And from there, what our ultimate goal has been, or will be, and is to donate and make donations to larger organizations with the intent that as we grow and scale, we want to push that down to the local communities where it's making a real impact. So working with tech schools, working with high schools, and even starting earlier than that, we really want to be able to do that so that small, mid-sized, large manufacturers can really have resources that are dedicated to their communities, and so that they can really find a more stable workforce to help them move on into the future.
I respect the mission and the direction and the impact that you're making so far. What kind of goals do you guys have in the near term?
Well, we've put a very high goal on that. We want to be able to give back $15 million.
Oh,
okay, and that's a moonshot. But what the heck, Why wouldn't we want to do something like that? And hopefully we exceed that. But that's a goal. Mm-hmm. We haven't put necessarily a specific time frame on it, but that's our goal.
Nice. I love that.
Thanks.
That's going to draw a lot of people in to want to be a part of that, be a part of something bigger than themselves. I think you're going to attract just a massive following and people that are going to take in a lot of coffee.
We hope so. Yeah. I mean, You would be surprised the ease of conversation around it, because every shop, and this is one of the things, Amy will talk about this for days, but she, in our experience, sometimes shops don't have the best tasting coffee. So we wanted to step up that game a little bit. And with the, people expect more of a Starbucks type of experience and a quality of coffee in their personal lives. And we want to bring a little bit of that into the workplace.
I will say this. I think the best part of waking up should be shop floor coffee in your cup. I think, Mike.
I don't know if that's usable or not, but let's roll with it.
We might get in trouble, but let's just push the envelope.
Yeah, I'm in. Let's go.
It just came to me. Let's talk about making a big impact. So
yeah.
I think that small manufacturers are mostly male dominated. And I think it's been mostly male dominated as you look back in the past. How do you balance making a big impact in the industry when you talk about wanting to include as many people as possible, but then also acknowledging that it's a male dominated industry?
Well, that's an interesting question. I don't know if I have an answer to it, but I guess the biggest thing that we've learned in the past year is that there's a huge opportunity to bring awareness and exposure to the industry so that people can understand that this is a viable option for anybody that's interested in making stuff. So one of the things that we're doing, and there's going to be some big announcements coming later in the summer of who we're working with, but we're trying to make an impact on kids as young as in elementary school on up through high school and into college, to let them know that, through STEM programs and other avenues, that manufacturing is a cool place to be, and it doesn't matter what that kid looks like at all. They could be from a different part of town.
Nice.
They could be from, they could be, whatever.
Right.
And they can have that as a viable option, and letting them know that that's something that's out there is what we're really trying to do. One real other quick thing is, and this is just kind of a personal example, but when we were at IMTS, we got introduced to a couple different people. They all happened to be ladies that were very heavily involved in not only teaching manufacturing, CNC manufacturing, but running a CNC machine. And a gal, she won some sort of big award in the state of Illinois, which was awesome. But then we saw there's a lot of young ladies that are involved with welding and want to be creative in that aspect, and getting involved in that from a younger age is something that we're very passionate about. So Amy Teal is our CEO and co-founder, and working with women in manufacturing and other various groups that are trying to bring people into it, no matter what they look like or anything like that. And that's one thing that we're really passionate about too. Another group that we're working with and as an industry partner is uniquely abled. And people with challenges are looking and are super prideful in jobs that they're able to do and exposed to, and that's something that we're trying to work with as well.
So as you've been exposed to all these different things, all these different people, all these different organizations, and you have these different relationships and partnerships, what are some of the workforce development trends that you're seeing that are out there right now?
Oh, man, that's a great question, because, excuse me, there's one thing over the last, just being in and around kind of manufacturing for a while, something that is really gaining steam, and say what you want about social media and the influencer crews or whatever, I think they're having a huge impact on getting maybe your non-typical people excited about getting involved with manufacturing, and just letting them know that that's an option. There's also a lot of different organizations, great organizations, that are starting to try new things. And a specific example is one of the organizations we work with is Metallic is All Within My Hands Foundation. And Metallica is a global brand and presence. 1 in 10 people knows who Metallica is in the entire world. Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And bringing a brand to a cause like what All Within My Hands does, which what they do is they work with 2-year and technical schools across the country. There's at least one school in each state that has or is part of the All Within My Hands foundation group. But they give money to those schools to get kids, young adults, students involved in the trades and in manufacturing specifically. So it's things like that that are combining different worlds to make an impact.
Nice. So you're seeing a lot of the next generation get involved, a lot of kids get involved in the industry.
Yeah.
What other trends or best practices are you seeing in workforce development?
Another trend, I guess, would be, STEM programs across the country are developing and gaining steam. I mean, it's almost like a Captain Obvious thing right now to say that, because just in there's a couple of different organizations that put on robotics competitions, and these robotics competitions are STEM related and get kids excited about being part of a team and working with your hands, building something, being creative with that. Engineering's involved, math, obviously, science are all involved in this, which can point kids towards manufacturing. And we all know that having automation in a facility is, it's just something that it's there now.
Right.
And having, a kid might not make the football team or want to be in band. And there's a robotics program that might be out there that could be their calling. And getting part of a team, being part of that environment, it's becoming it already is. It's not becoming. It's a big deal.
I can relate. I think my son might be one of those kids that you're talking about. What do you think companies should do, manufacturers should do to leverage some of these trends and some of these things that are going on that you see? Yeah,
and that's another thing about awareness. Sometimes we're so focused on what's in between our four walls that we don't see some of the community activities that are going on out there. And, I don't think that's anybody's fault. It's just a matter of, hey, I didn't know that was going on. I had no idea. Like, there's, people might not have kids or get that exposure to those programs that are run through schools. But it can be a very valuable kind of next generation type of asset to get involved with. And I'd say, if you're out in the community, seek those types of things out. As a matter of fact, on the way over here, I was having a conversation with a great company up in Hibbing, Minnesota, that they're trying to find ways to attract and recruit talent. And we were talking about this summer, hey, let's get a tour going of your facility with a robotics team.
Nice.
Let's figure something out like that just to prep for the next generation.
Yeah. Love it. Do you need to invest in your people that work on the second, third, or even the weekend shift? Avoid sending them to training during their off time and do what our top members do. Leverage digital courses so that they can learn when it works for them. Click the link in the show notes to learn more about digital courses that are included in a Manufacturers Alliance membership. Okay, so then just a couple more questions and I'll let you go here. So with all these industry partners, I think you just touched on this one, but what other needs do you see them having and how are you helping them connect the dots? Like this one in Hibbing you just mentioned. Yeah. They're looking to, recruit, and so you're thinking, hey, let's get a tour going, get more exposure going. Yeah. What other industry or what other needs do your industry partners have?
Oh, industry partners. So are you talking about the charitable donation partners or kind of industry partners? We kind of have a group of those as well. So,
well, the ones that are contributing to workforce development, that goes back to your mission to contribute to workforce development.
Yeah, and they're kind of a little bit all over the board, but I think the main thing, and I keep saying it comes back to awareness and getting like 2-year and technical schools. How much outreach do they have to their local manufacturing community? That's something that, hey, resources may not allow them to put a social media plan or program together that can reach those manufacturers, or they don't have somebody that's out driving around knocking on doors and saying, hey, here's what we're doing. So going back to that awareness factor is something that is a challenge. But then also, I would say that maybe another challenge for two-year technical schools in general is it's really hard to find people that want to be involved in teaching. And because, like, for somebody who's operating a machine, they're probably going to make a whole lot more money sitting in a shop and running a machine and have some more flexibility than they would teaching a program.
Yeah.
And that's a sad reality that happens. So some of the programs don't get the funding that they need. Those are challenges that we're hearing about a lot. And we all know, I mean, a lot of the high schools have cut programs, and some of those things are coming back, which is great.
Yep.
But maybe not enough.
Right.
And finding people that are willing to either donate time to teach or something like that can be a huge challenge for, especially in more, rural areas where there's just not enough people.
Right.
But those are some of the challenges.
Yeah, and a lot of things got to come together for that to happen.
Yep.
You got to get the equipment, you got to get the space, you got to get the instructors, the people that want to teach. Then, of course, you got to get mom and dad to say, yeah, let's go, send them.
Yep.
All those things got to come into play line it all up.
One other thing about that.
Yeah.
What this is a big picture kind of thing just because it's, we're here in Minnesota, but there's common challenges across the United States. You're well aware of this. But if there was, and this is just kind of an idea type of thing, but if there was almost like a central database of opportunities that can be brought together to let people know about what programs or things that challenges that could be overcome and best practices shared between states. Just an idea, but we're thinking a lot about how some of those things might be able to be accomplished. So
you got my wheels spinning. I mean, anything to increase the impact, I get excited about for the industry. We've kind of gone from the West Metro to the 7-county Metro.
You're growing too.
To Minnesota, but we're not quite state to state yet. So we got some work to do. Hey, before I let you go, what are you excited about improving next, just like in general? What are you most excited about?
Again, a great question. What's really got me going right now is thinking about how I mentioned we're going to have kind of a big announcement coming up in the summer timeframe, but it's all about getting the younger generation involved in stuff. So I never really starting Shop Floor Coffee was. The first thought was, how can we impact workforce and get manufacturers better qualified, not better, more maybe more qualified people. And now that's trickled down to, okay, let's get the next generation excited about it. And that's what really gets it's super rewarding to see how that can have an impact on the industry. And, being at IMTS was another great thing because we were down in the student section of that, IMTS. All the big dogs are up top. We were down in the basement, which was fine with us.
You're getting there.
We'll get there. We got in the door. But being down there and all the kids that kept coming in and seeing, some excitement about it, that was really kind of a cool thing to see. And I think that's going to be part of the most rewarding part about that, which gets me excited about it. I can speak for Amy too. She's all excited about it too. So
that's awesome.
That's fun.
Well, thank you for coming on and talking to me. And next time I see you, I'll ask you about that. And so looking forward to seeing you again.
Awesome. Thanks, Kirby. Really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm Kirby Snee with the Manufacturers Alliance, and this is the How Manufacturers Improve podcast. If you liked learning these high-level best practices from experienced peers, and you want your team to be able to access more in-depth process improvement and leadership training and education, I'd invite your company to become a member of the Manufacturers Alliance. To learn how top manufacturers are using their Manufacturers Alliance membership to develop their people, improve processes, and get better results, go to mfrall.com or just click the link in the show notes. Thanks for listening.